The nation we will be presenting today is called Liberia, and it never had a colony name because modern-day Liberia was established by the American Colonization Society in 1817. The main goal of colonization in Liberia was to send free African Americans to Africa as an alternative to emancipation in the U.S. That was formed by the American Colonization Society in 1817. Imperialism is a policy in which one country seeks to dominate other countries politically, socially, or economically. One reason that Liberia is so valuable is that the Liberian forests contain valuable trees such as mahogany, African walnut, and ironwood. Lumber is an increasingly valuable product of Liberia. Another reason that Liberia is valuable is that iron ore mined in the Nimba Mountains usually accounts for the largest share of Liberia's exports. Other minerals produced include gold and diamonds. The last thing that we will talk about that makes Liberia valuable are its crops. The main cash crop is rubber. Other important cash crops include coffee and cacao. Throughout the hardships and during an era of European imperialism in Africa, Liberia was able to maintain its political independence due to its relationship with the United States. The Americans were involved with Liberia because they wanted the area to send free African Americans to Africa as an alternative to emancipation in the United States. There were a total of 16 African tribes living in Liberia before and during imperialism. They now make up 95% of the population, and the tribe names are Kapela, Bassa, Gio, Kru, Grebo, Mano, Kron, Gola, Gabandi, Lama, Kisai, Vai, Del, Bella, Mandingo, and Mandi. Most African countries were under control during colonial rule. As you can see from this map, there were two that weren't. Those two countries were Liberia and Ethiopia. So Liberia did not experience any harsh treatment and ran their country as they normally did.
Liberians were not allowed any role in the politics of the country. Liberia became a safe haven for expatriated free African Americans after the 1820s. The nation became embroiled in conflicts driven by tribal animal sites and cultural differences that continued to plague its development into the 20th century. The National Patriotic Front of Liberia made a rapid military advance and inflicted several massacres on those supporters. By the start of World War I in 1914, all of Africa except Liberia and Ethiopia had been colonized. Initial African resistance had been overpowered by the colonial powers. Over the next decades, as colonial rule became institutionalized, African resistance to colonialism became more popular and chaotic. By the 1950s, there were nationalist parties that ordered political independence in almost all the colonies in Africa. Many Africans had no reaction to colonialism at first. The resistance to imperialism was used by demands for opportunity and inclusion, religious opposition, economic opposition, and mass protest. Liberia declared its independence on July 26, 1847. A declaration of independence by the representatives of the people of the Commonwealth of Liberia in convention met together. Liberia organized their government by the assumption of a sovereign and independent nation. Liberia's constitution states, "In all men certain inalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the right to acquire, possess, enjoy, and defend property," which is just like the United States of America. A young African-American man named Joseph Jenkins Roberts declared the colony of Liberia in West Africa an independent republic because he felt Liberia was ready and became the first president the next year. As Liberia made its borders bigger, the government of repatriates located largely on the coast tried to gain control over a growing native population located largely in the interior. Economic problems began to ruin the state's power over the coastal indigenous population. Liberia tried to modernize its big agricultural economy. The price of imports was much more than the income that was generated by exports of coffee, rice, palm oil, sugarcane, and timber. Liberia struggled using huge loans, mostly from Britain. The wars that were caused by imperialism left scars in Liberia and created the effect of racial barriers and social distinctions. Imperialist Westerners were evil to the African laborers. Westerners may have shared some good knowledge and ideas with Africa, but it does not make up for the African lives that had to be sacrificed to save European industries. Liberia's type of government is a constitutional republic. There are 30 registered political parties. Liberia's bicameral legislature has 66 representatives and 30 senators. There is a Supreme Court, criminal courts, appeals court, and magistrate courts for the 15 counties in Liberia. The president of Liberia is Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Liberia's national flag is named Lone Star, and it has 11 horizontal stripes that are red and white, representing the 11 signers of the Declaration of Independence and Constitution. It has a blue field representing the continent of Africa, and its white star inside represents Liberia as the first independent republic on Africa. Red on the flag means valor, white means purity, and blue means fidelity. Healthcare companies have depreciated ever since the Civil War because there was not time to improve and the Ebola disease has been spreading rapidly. Civil War ruined many of the country's crops, and agriculture plays a significant role in Liberia because 80% of the workforce works in agriculture. Some of Liberia's problems today will be solved and some will not. For example, Ebola will eventually be cured and there will be a vaccine for it, but food shortages and poverty will continue for a while.
Some fun facts about Liberia are the capital is Monrovia, the currency is the Liberian dollar or the US dollar, the population is 3,042,004, the official language is English, and the life expectancy for male is 37.03 years, for female it's 40.81 years. The religions are indigenous beliefs, Christian, and Muslim.